And okay, I'd like to introduce the efforts of my friends, Ms. Soonjong Nam from South Korea and Mr. Eugene Chia from Malaysia, to involve citizens in monitoring and conservation works. And we are not scientists at all, but we have been trying to convince our friends and citizens on the importance of conserving migratory shorebirds. So I will read out the scripts that they prepared on behalf of them. And if you have questions, they are here today, so you can ask questions. Monitoring is important to know the situation of the bird and the site, but the Asian waterbird census was not conducted in Sabah state in Malaysia for past few years. So I was wondering how the monitoring can be done since Sabah is quite large. And it was difficult for me to do it alone. Then I noticed that there were many photographers in Sabah. I thought that they are the potential resources for monitoring. They just needed to learn a few things. I'd like to share what I tried and how local people are changing. This is from Mr. Eugene Chia. Okay. First, I made an invitation flyer to introduce AWC so that people can easily spread information and join the movement. I asked for the cooperation of Malaysian Nature Society Sabah branch because the coordinator of AWC in Malaysia is the MNS. I also wanted to connect my photographer friends to MNS Sabah director, Ms. Anna Wong, so that they can help her in the future AWC when I'm not in Sabah. I looked for a venue to gather and shelter. I approached the Kota Kinabalu Wetland Center, which is at the easy access to many of us. I also wanted to encourage KK Wetland Center to join AWC because it is a Ramsar site. So we became a team. I invited my friends and the MNS members, and 45 gathered, including 10 children, in the first year. Other friends couldn't join this introductory session because they were living far away, but they joined the census in their areas. Ms. Anna Wong opened the event with a welcome speech. The MNS also supported tea and snacks. Anna also gathered her university colleagues and students. I introduced the Asian waterbird census and explained how we would like to conduct AWC in Sabah. The sites we would like to cover in Sabah were listed first. Then we chose experienced photographers and bird guides to be the leaders of each group, and new photographers followed them. We covered various types of sites, including lagoon, rice paddy field, coastal sites, and a pond where we can find shorebirds and ducks, as well as water buffalo. The participants came back to the Kota Kinabalu Wetland Center and shared their observations. This session was made to make the activity more participatory. And this is called minum, drinking. Outside was very hot, so we had local icy desserts. Such rest brings people together, and they exchanged information, planned next bird watching, and relaxed. We covered the payment for this drinking by donation from those who knew that I was trying to do the AWC. 11 sites were covered in 2016, the first time we conducted this. And 6 new sites were, including 6 new sites that were covered for the first time. In 2017, 1 site was covered by 3 volunteers. Then the next year, 3 sites were covered by 11 volunteers, and 5 sites covered by 10 volunteers in 2019. Gradually, the number of the sites covered are increasing. It would be nice if such introductory session can be held continuously, since there are new photographers joining to take pictures of birds. In Sabah, I thought it is important to provide lunch and small souvenirs in our culture if we'd like to encourage people to keep joining. Such activities cannot be continued if we simply rely on people's goodwills. Through continuously joining, the photographers will be convinced on the importance of such continuous conservation activities. And to find out how to attract more people more continuously, I interviewed a few photographers who joined the AWC recently. And people gradually get more interested in by obtaining new knowledge and experiences, like hearing about the migration, hearing the experts' talks, and quiz and tips, and field trips with experienced birders. Then they gradually got more interested in and convinced on the importance of the conservation. These are the posts made by Dave Beckwell to help bird watchers develop bird identification skills. So people are really interested in this. And also local bird club Facebook group plays an important role in sharing information by experts and skilled birders. But now, before nobody was interested in shorebirds in Sabah, but now some participants started searching information by themselves and read on the website, such as Borneo Bird Images, Oriental Bird Clubs, and BirdLife International's website. The AWC participants also shared ideas, what can help make people more to join to the AWC. Quite many people joined webinars organized by international NGOs, including EAAFP. And many participants pointed out that birding with experienced birders were key to keep their interest. Okay, from now, I'd like to introduce the activity done by Ms. Soonjon Nam. She's a teacher, school teacher, very, very experienced. So the case is an NGO in Incheon, Korea, which has been conducting citizen monitoring and contributed to the local decision making. This is Sondo Tidal Flat in Incheon City, located in the western coast side of South Korea. It has been a stopover site for migratory waterbirds, including shorebirds, which traverse along the EAAF, like other coastal area of Yellow Sea. As seen in this picture, most of the tidal flat at Incheon was reclaimed since 1995, but some areas remained and became Ramsar sites. There are many shorebirds and black-faced spoonbills in the remaining tidal flats. Near the Ramsar site, there is a habitat for black-faced spoonbills and ducks and shorebirds called Namdong Reservoir, which is surrounded by highly urbanized areas, including industrial complex. The population of waterbirds occurred in this region has been continued to decrease and be threatened during this huge development and change. However, black-faced spoonbills started to nest here on a small island of the reservoir in 2009, and they eat at other tidal flats, including the Ramsar site. Since black-faced spoonbills started to nest at Namdong Reservoir, Incheon Black-faced Spoonbill Network was established to monitor the reservoir and conduct awareness-raising activities. There are 8 NGOs in Incheon, and individual citizens also join. All have different jobs. At first, the interest was confined and engaged only in black-faced spoonbill protection, but they have expanded their monitoring species into all kinds of waterbirds, including shorebirds, since 2015. The group regularly monitors the number of spoonbills and other water birds in the reservoir and other wetlands in Incheon. The group organizes regular activities like welcome party for black-faced spoonbills, where over 100 students and their families join. The network provides a lot of educational opportunities, including a series of delivery programs for schools. This map shows the monitoring sites. There are 8 areas around Sondo in Incheon. The result of the monitoring is published every year. The activity is sponsored by the Incheon city government. The continuous monitoring over 10 years have input a lot last decade. There were a few plans to develop the reservoir, but the monitoring result convinced the local government not to disturb the habitat for the black-faced spoonbills and other waterbirds, including many shorebirds such as godwits and greenshanks. Now the government is considering the designation of the reservoir as a wildlife conservation area. In addition, the monitoring result also assisted in the conservation of shorebirds' habitat in Sondo tidal flood. There was a plan to make a big artificial island as an additional nesting area for the black-faced spoonbills. However, the group was concerned that it may destroy the remaining tidal flood where shorebirds eat and rest. They thought that the roosting site is more necessary for the shorebirds to roost when it is high tide. The group has shown the monitoring result and spoke to the government for almost 10 years. Finally, the city was convinced and altered the plan to create an artificial high tide roost on the reclaimed area that faces to the tidal flood instead. And this is the original plan to make an artificial island at the red dot on the map. So here is the Ramsar site. The gray area is the Ramsar site, but they plan to make it on very close to the Ramsar site. Instead, the city will create a high tide roost in this area covered by red dot, which is already reclaimed. The detailed plan is still under consideration, and the Incheon Black-Faced Spoonbill Network is providing advices. The Bird Island project was started as a compensation for the Songdo mudflat reclamation project. But it could destroy the feeding ground of waterbirds as built on the mudflat, while Sondo needs to protect mudflats for birds feeding and high tide roost. So the altered plan was much better than that. And the last slide, this is the last slide, and we'd like to share the factors to encourage the participation of citizens in the monitoring. We discussed what could be the encouragement. So we know that understanding of the need for regular monitoring is important, and it is very encouraging if the citizens can feel the sense of contribution. And it's very important to keep encouraging participants' interest or enjoyment. And the key, also, this is the key, there is a coordinator or a platform to provide necessary information and encourage participation. We'd like to be connected with more people who are trying to involve citizens in monitoring, and we'd like to learn how they are making efforts and share experience and ideas. Thank you very much for listening. This is the end of the presentation.